Hey friends, you're listening to episode number 56. I am so thrilled to bring this episode to you today. My amazing, incredible guest is Adora Evans, author of Magestic Money, the 30-day Femme Manifesting Game. Wow, we cover so much about manifesting money today. One of the things that stuck out for me was talking about our feminine confidence and how vital it is to our energy, our vibe, and our way we show up in the world. We also discussed the importance of embracing each moment and making it what we want it to be. This can be hard to remain in the present when working toward big goals. But what Adora taught me today is that if we observe each moment, we can consciously focus on making it a piece of our lives as a whole and build the life we really want to live, whatever that is. Whether it's ambitious or fun or stress-free or whatever, understanding that each moment builds the life we have makes it easier to live in the present. Today is jam-packed with goodness, so let's dive in. You're listening to the Live with Audacity podcast. I'm your host, Melissa Stewart. Audacity is defined by Merriam-Webster as intrepid boldness or disregard for normal constraints. And that's exactly what we have here. The Live with Audacity podcast is aimed at giving you the courage to explore your someday dreams, do things your way, and start making things happen in your life right now. I'm a mama to 4 kiddos ranging from college student to kindergartner, wife to a high school football and track coach, and a multi-passionate entrepreneur. Together with my guests, we're going to teach you how to live with audacity and intentionality, discover and utilize your unique skills and talents, and step into who you are meant to be in order to make your someday dreams a reality. Are you ready? Here we go. Hey everyone, thank you so much for tuning back into the Live with Audacity podcast. I'm so excited, and I know I say that every single time, but I'm always so excited about the people and the women I get to speak with because I feel like the universe really just puts the right people in my path the majority of the time. And so I'm very excited to get to talk to Adora Evans. She is the author of Magestic Money, the 30-day Femme Manifesting Game. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. And I love that live with audacity. It's a loaded statement, right?
Right. It totally is. And it's so funny because people, when coaches ask me, they're like, I don't get it. What does it mean? And I'm like, it means all the things. So it's funny that you pointed that out. It is a very loaded statement. Tell us a little bit about how the heck you got into manifesting and why you were called to write your super awesome book.
Oh, wow. So manifesting has been really important to me for a long time. I could probably say even starting back with the birth of my first son, I didn't realize that is what I was doing, but I was terrified to learn, to hear all the birth stories and possibilities. I wanted to give my body the best opportunity to birth. And that was probably the first time I used manifesting and femme manifesting really powerfully. I recorded all of these audios and spoke over my body down to I wouldn't have stretch marks. It would be painless, natural. Anyway, he ended up being, I was laughing when he was born without any medication. And prior to that, at 18, I lived in a boarded up home with no electricity because I hadn't paid it. And the kind family that let me rent that home allowed me to pay $50 a month or to try to do some kind of repair. I wasn't really keeping up with that. I'd already been married and divorced in high school. I was supposed to say prayer at graduation. and I was married to someone in college to be a pastor. And I ran away with another guy in the middle of the night for no real reason, because I dropped the guy as soon as I burned my marriage in flames. And then I moved back to this small town, again, boarded up home. Just imagine no electricity. I don't know if you've ever seen a house without sheetrock in it, but it's like panels and the
I have actually.
Okay, so that's what I was living in, and I was feeling pretty much like a loser, but spirit, God has always given me a little bit of optimism and a will to live, thank goodness. But I was working in this jewelry store, and this woman came in and was sharing her before and after photos of this weight loss journey, and that really got me excited. And then she also shared that she had this amazing business, and she could teach me, and it just felt like the right thing. So instead of paying for electricity or rent, I invested in a distributor kit in a network marketing company. And inside of that distributor kit was this cassette tape by this guy that you may have heard of named Jim Rohn. And I had a Walkman player, and I just remember staring at the sheetrock, piles of clothes everywhere because I was superbly messy at the time, and just also I was keeping everything in the best lit room. And yeah, I was just listening to Jim Rohn. It felt like he was speaking right to me. And basically he was saying, look, you're headed toward a destination, and you're going to arrive there. And you know where you're headed, if you don't know, by looking at your past choices, how you grew up. I had also already been molested, lived on my own from the age, or with friends from the age of 15. So I had some really, like, that part was like, oh my gosh, this destination is not awesome. But then he said, the good news is, all you have to do is set your sail, kind of like a sailboat, and set it in a new direction, and eventually you'll arrive at this new destination.
I love that.
And
so true.
Head to toe, it just felt like there is a chance. There's a chance for me, but I didn't necessarily believe in myself, but I believed in him, and I believed that he knew what he was talking about. So I did what he said. I read all these books. He said, books give you the opportunity to learn the wisdom that took someone their entire life to learn, or a lot of money or energy, and they're going to share it with you in a book, and you can go to the library and get that free. So I read 75 books that year and listened to, I can't tell you how many audios. I had a one-time check in that company of just under $8,000, or just over. It was almost 9,000 actually. And so I knew this stuff was working. I mean, it wasn't a total absolute transformation, but I was transforming daily, progressing daily. And I just remember thinking, if I can inspire someone like this one day, if I can reach in, because that was one of the darkest points in my world, if I can reach into someone's dark point or someone's world, wherever they are, and give them even a fraction of this lift and that I'm getting right now. And Melissa, I really feel that for many years, those books, those teachers, those audio books, those were my, they were my teachers. They were my mentors. They raised me. And so that started my journey to really focusing on how to create new realities. And it also was the birth point of, hey, I want to write a book, at least the second one in the self-development world. I want to impact people like this one day. Like, that would be so amazing. Yeah.
I love that. It's learning everything that you can about not just manifesting, but positivity and personal growth and things like that. And truly understanding that you are in control of where you're headed. obviously in conjunction with, you know, spirit, universe, God, whatever you believe in. But understanding that you actually have to decide and take the action so that spirit can help you, you know, move in the direction of your dreams. And so I love that you learned all of that and then decided, hey, you know what? I have so much to tell other people, and decided to write a book about it. I also want to say that the cover of your book is so beautiful. I love it so much. It's just so pretty. Where did you come up with the idea for the, if you, obviously you can't see it, but if you go to the show notes, I'll have a picture of it in there. But it's this beautiful geometric crown with all these reds and beautiful colors and gold, and I just love it. Where did that idea come from?
Oh, that means so much to me. And you'll hear, you know, the funny thing is that when I first started going with that cover, I loved it. I thought it was so beautiful, and lots of the women in my community did. But in doing research around manifesting and what is industry standard and book covers and stuff, it's not the soft pink, glowy, and purples and blues and mystical looking.
Yeah.
So I love that you love it. So probably yeah. Yeah. So at 25 or 26, I was watching this weekend marathon of Madonna, the singer, over the decades, and all of her looks and all of her, you know, different things. And I was getting so inspired and so lit up by her ability to just transform and create this new identity that was so sexy and powerful and raunchy and sensuous and beautiful. And I thought at that time I was teaching workshops locally, and I thought, wouldn't it just be so cool if I could implement this into my work somehow? So at that time, I came up with, you know, every woman is a queen, and we have a queendom, our life and our universe that we are specifically assigned to. And we're either nurturing that queendom or we are neglecting it, but we are co-creating. And I don't know if I thought we are co-creating as God the way that I think that now, but I felt so lit up, and I imagined, you know, these events where women got to dress as their own archetype or their own queen, and ball gowns and costumes, and, you know, and it was so exciting to me. And we
should totally do that, by the way.
Right? I know. I can't wait until we're able to gather again so that we can. And like we were talking about before this call, things come in seasons and cycles. And I got really lit up about it and wrote the Queen's Creed and all these different things. And then it's so funny because now I'm 42, also ageless. I'm going to speak that into existence right
Amen,
now.
Girl. Amen.
Not aging, right? But it came up again for me that, hey, this is, our lives ultimately are our own queendom, and we all have been given treasures, and we all have this grand opportunity to really rule it with passion, power, presence, and grace, or to neglect it and let villagers, other people camp and do what they want, you know, in our property, in our land. And our lives are, and our choices, our bodies, there are sovereign land. And yeah, so I went with that.
I love it. I love it so much. Yeah, I mean, it's so true, right? Like, I think we as a whole, as women, you know, we've always been taught, or society likes to make us think that we are, yes, we are queens, right? But there's always a king, there's always someone above us. You know what I mean? And I think when we realize that we actually have the power, you know, like we talked about, to make what we want come to life. And it's on us to be able to do that. And we totally have the power right at our fingertips. The world just opens up so much, and you just become so like, you don't have to wish for something. You can actually have it and make it happen. It's just, do you believe that you can make it happen? So I loved it.
Yeah, big time. And that's the thing with the masculine and feminine energy. So a lot of what I learned about manifesting, I learned from beautiful, wonderful, fantastic men and from their perspective. And I believe, everybody has masculine and feminine energy, but when you add that our core teachers have been male, predominantly teaching their best renditions of what they knew or didn't know, was also working with a feminine energy, and then living in a patriarchal society for some time, the feminine side of things has been misconstrued, or the missing part of manifesting for me, because like what you just said about belief and being able to do it, that is the logic, and that is the reason, and it is so true. And I have a very strong masculine energy inside of me that I love so much. And there is a whole other side that is, now how do you take that belief into your heart? How do you take it into your body? How do you bring it forward into reality, from the mind into physical form? And that is the feminine. And talking about that, I remember the first time that I started contemplating the divine feminine and going, okay, I've been taught, because my spiritual awakening was through Christ, and I still really resonate with Christ and Christ energy and all of that. But the way that I had been taught these spiritual principles was like, I'm made in the image of God, and he is a male, and there's the Father, right, and there's the Son, and there's the Holy Spirit, the end. And the women washed his feet and prepared him and mothered him, but that was the end. And at first it started with, well, if I'm made in the image of God, and everywhere I look, I see male and female. And I started learning about nature and the spiritual wisdom of nature. And I'm like, there's feminine and masculine and everything. So there must be a feminine and masculine version of God, the mother, because we have the father, the lover, the provider, the protector. But what about the mother, the lover, the sister?
Yeah.
And then
the nurturer.
Yeah. And, thank goodness I follow my inklings, because it was probably 2 years into my feminine studies that I found out that Aramaic, the language that Jesus spoke in, which wasn't Greek or Hebrew, it was Aramaic, that everywhere the word Holy Spirit was used, or Shekinah, that was feminine, and I just wept that day, going, well, I knew it. And, I believe there are a lot of different paths, and whether or not the path actually speaks to the feminine, it's like, look around and you will notice it in nature. And so if you can accept that there is a representation of God that is also feminine, and there's a feminine part of that, so not an either or, a masculine and a feminine. And then as a woman, even men, but I work predominantly with females, even though so many of my reviews of the book are by men right now, which is incredible to me and says a lot about how wonderful the masculine energy is, and how ready it is for this kind of movement in women and men. But, it is through the portal of a woman's body that spirit comes from, wherever spirits come from before they take up physical form. They come from wherever, live in the body of a woman, and then through the portal of a woman, they walk about. So a baby is born, and there was no life, and suddenly there's a physical reality embodied by a life force, and that happens through a woman. And it is through a woman's and through the feminine that we can really tap into the codes of what it is to bring something from the idea, from spirit world, from imagination, from inspiration, and manifest it, move it from brain to heart to actual physical reality. And so, you know, there's just such a powerful recognition if you sit with that for a minute and go, wow,
I was going to say, I'm sitting here
manifester, right? As a woman.
Yeah. No, it's so crazy. I was just thinking like, man, no one has ever really explained it or explained it in that way. And it's holy cow. It's like, it really makes you feel like, oh, okay, hold on, let me pop my collar because I am amazing.
Yes. And while you're popping that collar, and I hope every woman is, and like shoulders back, hand on your heart, hand on your womb, whether you've had children or not, or able to or not, that creative power lives in your DNA. Here's why, another reason that I talk a lot about body love and self-love and coming home to the body. A lot of the practices in my book in that 30-day game are because the body is the place, and those codes, those birthing codes, live in the body of the woman. And yet for years and years and years, we have seen different ways that women have been taught to be ashamed of their bodies, to objectify their bodies, to disconnect from their bodies, be it through actual physical traumas that made them not want to be with it. Or, you know, when I was in high school, it was all about having a thigh gap and a skinny booty and like looking, you know, being close to 100 pounds at 5'2", you know, so when you're, and, you know, I went through bulimia and things like that, and also connected to being molested. But one of the, I don't want to say war, even though there is a war, but many women are at war with their bodies, and yet your body is the place that is going to give you those divine inklings and the intuitions of not that man, not that job, go here. I want you to go to this grocery store today because the person who stands next to you is going to impart this kind of energy or lead you to this space, or you're going to meet your soulmate there. You're going to be, you know, immersed in the energy of the neighborhood you're going to move to next year, right? And so you can't hate your body and beat yourself up mentally, physically, and emotionally and expect that you're going to manifest at the highest levels or be able to tap into ease and flow and magical manifestation and sensual living, which sensual living isn't, even though sexual living can be a part of it, sensual is what am I smelling, feeling, tasting, hearing, touching. And so all of that is part of the femme magic. And the good news is if you're listening and you're like, oh my gosh, I have been hating myself, or I do, you know, I'm always poking on my belly, or, you know, have negative self-talk, that's okay. Some of the most magnificent things that I manifested in one, you know, 30-minute pocket of really great vibrational imagining and in my heart and really relaxed and in flow. And then, you know, after that, especially in my early 20s, maybe all the old habits were ruling and, you know, working in me. And I remember I used to be afraid, like, oh no, I'm undoing all the good stuff. But it's really it's not true. Like, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to get it right all the time. You just got to get in the game of practicing and knowing and playing in and allowing. And even if you kind of like that Jim Rohn story, even if you don't believe it could be true for you, like sometimes you're like, yeah, that's true for everybody else, but not me. You know, even if you have thoughts like that, this can still work for you. It's about just finding little pockets of that powerful energy, because you are so powerful and that divinity in you is so powerful that it will create an incredible reality. And with consistency and practice, that starts to get momentum, which is part of why I created a 30-day game. Because I'm like, it's just like going into the gym. You don't just go for a month, get your vacay body, or 3 months and then
right.
stop. It's like, it's a consistent practice. You brush your teeth daily, you shower daily, you work out daily, you read daily, you mother daily. And that's how you become masterful. So at any level, at any age, even if you're a master at it, it's like, it takes a practice, and choosing to focus on high vibe, beautiful living, desire-based, soul-aligned ideas. I think that, you know, you've got to make an effort to do that, especially in a world where, you know, the sizzle sells and the negative news sells, and
right.
it's, you know, it's bombarding, you know,
So
in a
let
lot
me
of
ask
ways.
you, this. How do, like, if someone is brand new to manifesting and tapping into their intuition and just brand new at starting to hear their heart and soul and be guided by it, what would be your advice on how to do that? And like how can we practice listening to our soul and our intuition on being guided to the next right thing?
Yeah, so I'm going to give a couple of tips. So if I only get one, remind me I said I had another one. Okay. Because I can get on a passion rant with this. So,
I know. It's so awesome, though. That's how you know you're doing the right thing, is that you're just like, woo, let's go.
I love this. Yeah. Yeah. So first of all, I'd like to invite you to look at managing moments over, you know, big, this big picture, like, and then we're going to go big picture, right? But the reason I say moments is because most of the things that we want in our life, whether it's more money, a better body, a soulmate relationship, it's because that we believe when we have those things, we're going to feel better. We're going to feel peaceful, happy, confident, alive, you know, all of those things. And the reality is those things will support you, and they're awesome expressions. And you certainly, that's part of playing the game of life, is choosing, what do I want to go for? What do I, you know, what's going to inspire me to really grow and become? And what am I designed for? I believe the things that you want them because you're designed for them. Like the things that are truly that you want. Like, why does a bird want to fly, even if its wings are tied up? Because it's designed to fly. So your desires are kind of the blueprint of what you're designed for. Now, whether you choose to stretch those wings or not, again, it's your queendom. So we will get to the designing of that. But ultimately, at the end of life, you're going to look back and go, was my life peaceful? Was it glorious? Did I feel present? Am I happy? How did I live my life? How was the quality of my life? And that's not going to be measured by these one-off achievements. I mean, it took me several years to get myself to even write the book, a year of concentration to get the book out there, and then all this, push stuff, and then boom, the book's out there. There are only certain moments that are the milestone. Yay, you're an author now, and that feels great. And then there there's the next thing, right? So quality of life isn't about just these core achievements. It's about how you felt along the way when you're achieving it. So the way that I like to say this is, when you look at your life, you're going to go, how did I feel overall in life? Yeah, there were some rough times, there were some high times, but what was the overall pulse of my life? Was it miserable and always wanting to be more, not enough, not enough, not enough, not there yet? Was it, wow, what a journey. This is awesome. I'm grateful. I'm thankful. Look at, I'm achieving, I'm growing, I'm becoming. What was it? Was it full of love and adventure and play overall, right? Again, we're always going to have these certain seasons that are really high, or, some dark times. They come to all of us. But what was the overall pulse? And how do you create that overall pulse? So the way it's created is, a lifetime is made up of years, right? And then the years are made up of seasons and then those seasons are made up of months. And a lot of times I think I used to trick myself and go, I just need to work real hard and focus and forget everything and be miserable for 3 months. And because then I'll get here. But anybody who's done that enough knows there's always a next thing to do once you get there. There's never a place. So then when you go to those months are broken down by weeks. And at the end of the week, you'll go, how was my week? And what I like to say is, how is my life this week? How is life this week? Because it reminds me that I am creating a life with my daily, and then that week is made up of days. So how is my life today? How was I feeling? How was I thinking? How was I being? And then the day is made up of hours. So right now my life is great with you, Melissa. I'm getting to share my passion. You're listening. It's wonderful, right? So you look at that and go, how is my life? And if you can get really good at creating great minutes that make the hour, what's going to happen is the momentum that, when you string it all together, creates a great month, a great week, a great month, a great year, a great life. So we've got to manage those moments, moment by moment, not just grinding, pushing, driving all the time, but like infusing our moments with, what do I need for this to be a great life? Maybe I need to invite more ease,
I love that you're saying that, because I actually had this realization maybe late last week or earlier this week. And it was just like, I can set goals and I can say, oh, in September, I'm going to do this. But what am I actually doing each day? How am I working toward that? And then, okay, so if I'm working on this goal for the month, and I have these things that I want to get done today to start reaching that goal, I also, don't want to get to the end of the month and either not be anywhere close to my goal, but also I don't want to have been like, heck yeah, I got so close to my goal, or I reached my goal, or I surpassed my goal, whatever. But man, the month went by so fast. I didn't spend any time doing the things that I actually really love doing, like getting in the pool or hanging out with my kids, or, having a date night with my husband or whatever. And I think it's so easy for us to get so laser focused on the one thing that we need to do, or just so consumed by, I gotta achieve this thing, that we forget that, the hours and the minutes and the days build the life, right? And that when we get to the end of our life, we want to know that we enjoyed it and enjoyed meeting those accomplishments that we set out to do. So I think that is so valuable to point out, and I'm so glad you brought it up.
Yeah, and I'm so glad it's resonating, and I love how that happens. That it is a recent thought. It's that divine flow and that synchronicity confirming
Yeah.
to you the truth that you're receiving for yourself. And a question I like to ask myself is, who am I being? You know, right now, because I certainly have times when I am driving, like a book launch, you know, or something like that. But again, who do I want to be driving the book launch? And I think of a time that I was taking my daughter to Six Flags years ago. And the reason I was taking her is I wanted to bond with her. I wanted to have fun together. I wanted to be adventurous. And, you know, but who I was being was, come on, go, go, go. We got to hurry up and get to Six Flags where we're going to have a ton of fun. And I was not being fun, right? I was not being adventurous. I was not
Isn't that
being
so funny how that happens? You're like, oh
right,
my gosh.
right, right. So it's like, okay, you want to write a book. Why? To inspire, to connect, to love, to share ease. So who am I being when I'm driving my launch? You know, and I may be
Yeah.
calling more on my masculine energy, but if you're checking in consistently with who am I being, you're going to create a better quality of life. You're also going to, your brain is going to perceive things that match that beingness, and you won't be in such fight or flight stage. You know, when you're in fight or flight, even if $1 million or your soulmate or the next best opportunity is sitting in your face, you're not going to have time to notice it or to see it or to follow that inkling. So, you know, who you are being as you go through your day is going to bring in, if you're being inspired, then inspiring thoughts, inspired actions are going to come to you. That's why, you know, people will want the strategy, and I believe in strategy, and strategy is important, and I associate that with the masculine side of myself and the masculine energy. But it's the heart and the spirit that you want, or I want to drive that strategy from and with. So if you're just starting, you know, start with your moments. And then another thing that I would say on that same note, so tip 2 and then tip 3, and I'll be shorter with this one, is that our bodies, back to that feminine nature, our bodies they're our sovereign property. And in many religions, and I'm quite spiritual if you haven't noticed, our bodies are associated with being the temple. You know, the temple is where, and in Christ, you know, the story of Christ, whether you believe in it or not, I think it's a pretty cool story, because before Christ, it was all about sacrificing and going to some priest that would then connect you to God. And the main message is, hey, of Jesus, whether you think he was a prophet or a savior, whatever, let's just look at the metaphor, is that, hey, there's no need for sacrifice or for a priest. The Holy Spirit is going to come and live in you, which, remember, that's divine feminine, the comforter. And now you can connect to God on your own, and you're going to get your own inklings, because God is going to live and dwell inside of you, your temple, your house. And so I love that. Okay, hey, let's stop sacrificing and
Right.
relying on people who can control us with agendas and whatever, and let's bring God inside. So if this is your temple, I love Cleopatra had an entire room dedicated to makeup and another room to bathing. And the reason is not just because she was the Kim Kardashian of her day or something like that. It's because she was really attuned to not only the femme magic and power, but that she believed, hey, my body is a temple. And if you think of a temple, then, you know, just like you set the temple, you know, the place for meeting God, the curtains need to be a certain way, the candles need to be a certain way, the lighting needs to be a certain way, the cleanliness needs to be a certain way, is that she believed that putting on makeup was an act of magic, that bathing rituals were setting the temple and getting the temple ready so that when she was desiring, communicating, focused on what she wanted, that her temple was set, right? So I want to say that same thing, like your temple, no matter your spiritual belief, it is the house, the home for your identity, for your spirit. And so rather than warring with it and hating it, I want to invite you to love it, to,
pamper it,
serve it, pamper it. And one of my favorite rituals I give in the book, and a lot of women really love it, is you can get into the bath or the shower, light candles or not. I know a lot of people are still at home with kids at home, and it can be a little bit challenging, but if you can make it a sacred space, light a candle, play some music, do some things like that, wonderful. But then in the bath or shower, as you bathe each part of your body, say out loud or in a whisper something that you're grateful for. Like, hey, hands, I'm so grateful for all of the baby faces you let me touch, all the rocks I got to climb, the trees, all the things I've been able to touch and sense. Thank you. Thank you. I love you. Arms, thank you. And go over every single body part. If you do that even once, I mean, it's one of the most profound experiences of my life. And I still do it regularly.
it makes me emotional thinking like, wow, yes, my body is my temple. And you're right. When you take a moment to show that gratitude for every bit and piece and part of you, you realize like, oh, dang, this is actually really special. And it takes that whole criticism of our body out of it and says, you know what, my body has, because people can say all the time, like, oh, I have these stretch marks. I'm so excited about them because they helped me, birth my children. Okay, well, sometimes my kids are brats and I'm like, why did you do this to me? But when I see it as like, it's provided me so much ability to serve my purpose or, be the woman that I really want to be. So huge, so huge. And I think the way that you put it, reminds me like, yes, we are supposed to, not supposed to, we should exude confidence every chance that we get. And, a lot of times I fall victim to this significantly, is that I get up and I throw up my hair or, just whatever, and don't take the time to um pretty my temple, right? And part of me is like, it's fine, like I don't really care. But then the other side of me recently, which is funny that it's another synchronicity, is that like I need to do these things for myself so that I feel confident. And when I feel confident, I show up so much better for my family, myself, my audience, and things like that. So just so excited and happy that you brought that up, because it's so powerful and just, oh my gosh, just like so many ahas just exploding right now. And
I love
so
it. And
glad you
the
said that.
funny thing is like, well, what does this have to do with money? Because the name of the game is Magestic Money. And going back to all of that beingness, we will only allow ourselves to receive what we feel worthy of receiving. Like money is just energy. And if you are caring for yourself at the basic deep levels as this queen who is worthy, who is rich, who is full, who is abundant, who is connected, who the divine life force flows in and through her as her, and you're taking actions that align with that, and you're affirming ideas that align with that, then when you go to approach money and you add a goal of, I want to manifest money as a divine feminine queen that I am, then the money strategies there are a million of them out there, right? And this book specifically is the aligning with self-worth, shedding shame so that you can receive money. And people, the first time I ran this game live, it was so wild because I was just doing it because I finished another manifesting book and I was like, man, it's over. I love when I'm in that vortex of focus. I wish there was a 30-day game to do it. And so I decided to put together this little game. 12 women came in. You know, we focused on manifesting money specifically, and part of it is tracking and celebrating everything that's coming in, whether it's a cup of coffee from a neighbor or whatever, and really celebrating it. And we are focused on manifesting money, but simultaneously we're doing these exercises. You know, there are 30 different exercises over the 30 days. And it was amazing. The first 5 days, I think 3 different women randomly, it wasn't even a number that they put out, but had $1,000 unexpected come into their bank account each from like past old invoices, gifts, things like that. One woman manifested her dream home with a horse paddock and presents for her 5 children. One woman manifested her dream car down to the peacock color. And, you know, it's so wild because
so cool.
We're focused on loving ourselves, on taking in this, unleashing this feminine energy, and we're playing with the focus of money. And I just realized, like, wow, this is the profound base work, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love it so much. How do we get into the game? Is there like a Facebook group or something? I know we can download the book or, you know, download the Audible, but how do we get into the energy and be with all the other people that are doing it too?
Oh, yeah, great question. So ebook, Audible, paperback, all available year round. And then I have a Magestic Money. You have to go to www. You have to put the W's in there right now. www.magesticmoneygame.com. And I always have available either the digital courses combined with a live private Facebook group of women that are going through it and sharing. And then a couple times a year, I run it live. So we've got a live game going on right now. And I think by the time your listeners hear this, there will still be a lot of women in pure action coming off of that. So I pop in there regularly, whether we're running it live or not. But it is incredible because the exercises that we do in the game, we do them, I mean, there are 4 big practices, actually 5, that are hour-long classes that you get to sit in the energy of the transmissions, of meditations, of prayers, of weaving our intentions together. It's really powerful. It's awesome.
Yeah, that is so incredible. And guys, I already downloaded the book. I'm gonna be reading it as soon as I get off of here. So yeah, no, this has been so incredible for me, and I pray that this message reaches someone and really ignites their desires and their heart and their energy and their intuition and their just inspiration, everything, because I think when we are in that air quote high vibe place, which this has totally provided that for me today, and I totally needed it. I know that when we're in that place, we can accomplish so much, or not accomplish, bring in so much more that we want in our lives. And man, it's been incredible for me. So thank you so much for being here. I sincerely appreciate it.
Oh, Melissa, you are a divine light. I feel you. I'm so grateful to be here with you. And this was an amazing, beautiful life that I just had for this past 45 minutes to an hour. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I am just so grateful that we got to connect. Can we do a quick rapid fire?
Yes.
Okay. What is a book, article, person, or talk that's changed your life?
Louise Hay, Heal Your Body, Heal Your Life.
I've heard that before, actually. I think several people have said that one. So that's awesome.
Ding, ding, ding. Melissa's getting that book next.
Yep. That's hilarious. I almost just opened a browser and was like, okay, let me go get this book. um, okay. What is your favorite Friday night at home?
Ooh, favorite Friday night at home.
I should really change the question to just what's your favorite Friday night instead of assuming people like to be at home on Friday.
Yeah, well, it's it's something physical. Like I've done something physical that day, either the gym, the hike, whatever, and then snuggling up with my man somewhere beautiful. And that could be at home, but it could also be like, a national park, a cabin in a national park or something like that. I love those moments.
Yeah, I love that too. That is so awesome. Yeah, that's incredible. And let's see. The next one is, what was your dream job as a kid?
A dirty dancer, which I did end up having. I watched
So hilarious.
dancing. I did end up, after my Bible club president, being a stripper for a little bit. So I feel like I lived that dream. And then an actress, and then an author.
Oh my gosh, so funny. I always wanted to be a stripper too, but but I think it's just like I don't know exactly what it was. Like you want to be in that feminine energy and feel sexy, but you also want to be in control. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
Yeah.
But hilarious.
I
So
know.
funny. What is your next vacation that you're planning if we ever get to leave our houses ever again?
Oh, I want to go to the Maldives and also Thailand. I know
Oh my gosh. So when do we leave?
Yeah.
I'll go with you. Let's go.
Yummy food and massages in Thailand, right?
Right? Oh my, and the water there looks so incredible. Oh my gosh. What is your best advice to help our listeners live with audacity?
Okay. Again, you asked for one and I'm giving you two. I'm a Gemini, so I'm going to blame it on that. One is commit to loving yourself no matter what. Like the only life you're going to be accountable for at the end of day is the one that you've been assigned first, which is, how did you love yourself? How did you care for yourself? And then also the community and your babies. The second one is, I got it from Tony Robbins, constant and never ending improvement. I got that at 18. So commit to learning and growing and progressing. If you do that, you're always going to have the resources and tools to keep moving.
Yes, absolutely. 1% better every single day if you can. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So where can people find you to get more information about the book and all the things?
Awesome. So I'm on Facebook as Adora Crystal Evans. I'm pretty active there. And you can go to adoracrystal.com and at Adora's Groove. I feel like people don't really hang out on websites very much. So at Adora's Groove on Instagram.
Oh, I love that. Adora's Groove. Yes, perfect. Awesome. Well, this is so much
coming through.
right. I love that. That's so funny. Okay, thank you so much for being here. And holy cow, this was just so much fun. And what's so funny is I haven't recorded all summer. So I was like, when we sat down to record today, I was like, man, I haven't done this in so long. And, you feel like your to-do list is so long and I don't have time for this. But every single time I do it, it just gives me so much life and so much power and fire inside of me. And I want to thank you for being a part of that today, because it just changed my whole day. So I just am so appreciative.
Oh, thank you. And that's a reminder. That's one of those things that is a you thing and a passion thing that, like, even with the to-do list, it needs to move up your priorities, right? If it features.
Absolutely. Yes, it needs to be the top priority because it just makes me so happy.
Woo! Me too. I feel it. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey y'all, I had to jump in here real quick because I need a favor. If you are loving the Live with Audacity podcast, I need you to do me a big solid favor and share it with your friends, share it on social media, and go to the Apple iTunes link and click subscribe, rate it, review it. I need to know your feedback, and I want to keep putting this out for you, so I really need your help to get the message out. Thank you so much for your loyalty and your super kind and sweet words. They mean so terribly much to me.